Good morning, it is Emma. It's 10 o'clock and it's Wednesday, so I thought I would do a little health slot on drinking, okay? And I've called this slot, what you're drinking. Are you drinking enough or too much? Good morning, Lorna. Great to see you. Now, Mr. Healy's about to walk past and not fall over all these cables and take a few dogs with you. That's it. Give her a wave. That's it. Give Lorna a wave. Take a dog with you. Right. And Bessie, do you want to go too? Or you can stay there and be quiet? Yeah? Okay. Brilliant. Good morning, Margaret. Fantastic. So I'll just wait for a couple of people to jump on board. You'll be laughing if you could actually see my desk here. It's like the bottle stall at the village market. Look, all these different bottles of everything. Okay. So I just thought it would be interesting. Oh, good morning, Wendy. Okay, so on today's health talk, as I talked about at 9 o'clock on the step, I wanted to talk about what are you drinking? Are you drinking enough or too much? Okay, so I am here as a source of general information, okay? I'm not going to be judgmental at all. And I just want us to have a bit of a chat about what are we drinking, okay? So I'm starting with this little beauty before I knock it over, all right? How many of those do you reckon you're drinking in a day? Now, I'm not just talking about water. I'm just talking about non-alcoholic fluids. How much are you managing to drink in a day? I'd love a little bit of feedback with you. So if you can give me some ideas. So we're talking soft drinks. We're talking tea, coffee, water, squash, whatever. How much fluid do you reckon you're drinking in a day? While you're typing your answers, I would probably say I'm drinking more than ever because the kettle's literally around the corner. While you're answering, I'm going to give you all a wave. That's it. So I'd love to get some answers from some of you. What are you drinking? The quantities. About how many mugs worth do you reckon you're drinking would be good. And while you're typing your answers, it's important that you know there's never a definite answer. The answer is basically how much liquid your body needs is very much dependent on your size. Good morning, Karen. We're just saying, Karen, could you type below about how many mugs of liquid you reckon you drink, non-alcoholic liquid you drink in a day? About 8 minimum coffee mugs of decaf, a couple of teas and a couple of small waters. Okay, brilliant. So that sounds like you're very well hydrated, Lorna. So that's good. My mug is this size. This is my nice new mug from Girly. I think I would say that's probably half a pint, I would say. And I had 5 of these by lunchtime yesterday. Yeah, I'm hydrated. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about what's in it in a minute. Okay, so Sharon said hot water, lemon, ginger or herbal teas, lots and lots. Fantastic. So Sharon's well hydrated. Okay, brilliant. The amount of fluid you need is very much dependent. Yeah, it is a nice mug. It's dependent on your size. You know, if you are kind of like an 8 stone little person, you're never going to need as much as a 20 stone person, are you? Absolutely not. So the amount you have, they generally say at least a couple of litres of fluid a day. That's non-alcoholic. Every cell in your body needs fluid. And as I've always said, it's about variety. Okay. It's a personal choice what you're drinking. I have a big mug. Yeah. I would say this is quite a big mug. I mean, you can't really see it with, perspective wise. It's just an average sort of mug. But it's certainly not a small mug. Okay, I have got some small mugs, but I don't particularly bother with them. Okay, so we've started off by the quantities you're drinking. Okay, so lots of you are saying you drink quite a lot. Margaret says about 6 mugs, not enough water. Okay, so some of you have said you're on decaf. Some of you are on fruit teas. It's very much an individual thing, isn't it? Andy loves fruit teas. So he will drink peppermint tea. My daughter drinks green tea. I can't stand any of it. I don't like the taste of any of it. So if you like fruit teas, brilliant. Okay. I want to go on to next. I want to talk about caffeine. Okay, so Lorna's already commented that she has decaf coffee. All right, so obviously decaf, yep. Caffeine is a stimulant, and caffeine is found in things like coffee, hot chocolate. So you don't seem to be very thirsty. Okay, absolutely. Your brain needs every single bit of your body needs fluid. Absolutely, Sharon. Yeah. So we're going to talk about caffeine just quickly. So caffeine, is in coffee, small amounts in tea, it's in hot chocolate, it's in chocolate. There is a place for caffeine. It's a stimulant. If if for some emergency reason you need to stay awake, and I'm thinking, when I was younger, if I needed to finish off an essay, I've left it all last minute, that sort of stuff. People drink energy drinks that have got caffeine in them just to keep them going. Okay. Some people might find there's a place for those in their lives, but on the whole, you do not want to have too much caffeine. Now, I was doing some homework for this talk and I printed off a little sheet about the effects of caffeine on the body. Obviously, it's a stimulant. So it'll make you wee, it'll keep you alert, so it can temporarily relieve drowsiness and fatigue, but it's only temporary, hence you're doing it while you're writing an essay in the middle of the night or going for a long journey. Caffeine can affect your brain, too much caffeine can overstimulate the brain, leading to confusion, you get headaches. I'll come back to headaches in a minute. You might find if you've drunk too much coffee, it can give you palpitations. Good morning, Alison. Karen says 5 teas, 2 coffees, 3 glasses of water, squash on a cool day, on hotter drinks, more cold days. Okay, brilliant. So the caffeine can cause a rapid heart rate, and that can be quite uncomfortable for some people. It can cause heartburn, nausea and vomiting. Caffeine can help keep you regular, but if you have too much caffeine, it can give you diarrhea. For some people, it can affect their fertility. And we've talked about this at Way to Fitness before, but caffeine can affect your bones. Caffeine prevents calcium absorption in the bones, increasing your risk of osteoporosis. And as you get older, your bones are more likely to break more easily. Okay, so caffeine affects calcium absorption. So those of us of a certain age, over 30, we don't want to be having too much caffeine because of the effects on our bones as much as anything else. So there's a place for caffeine, but it would be a good idea if you might want to review how much you're drinking and whether or not you would consider anything else instead. So obviously, we've talked, you could try your decaf coffee. All right. If you're a coffee drinker, you could try decaf. Interestingly, green tea has caffeine in it, but you can get decaf green tea. All right. So of the herbal teas, don't assume just because green tea is kind of herbal, it hasn't got caffeine. It has got caffeine. Okay. If you're troubled by getting up for a wee in the night, then reducing your caffeine can improve your sleep, because caffeine's a stimulant. It's as a stimulant, it stimulates your bladder as well. So you might find, continence nurses that I've spoken to have said they'll tell patients to cut down on their caffeinated drinks. So we've said that caffeine is in a lot of different things. Don't forget it's also in things like sports drinks. There's caffeine in those as well. Some people drink those. So if you're troubled by getting up in the night, it's not just about the quantities of fluid, it's more of what's in them. So you may choose to deliberately reduce your caffeine in what you're eating and drinking, and not have it later on in the day. And it obviously affects your sleep. So when we talked weeks ago, it was weeks ago now, about how you can sleep better, cutting back on your caffeine can make a real difference. So don't forget, there's caffeine in chocolate. I need to remember that. There's bound to be more caffeine in the chocolate I like, because I like plain chocolate. But just be aware of that. Okay, so all I'm saying to you is look at the hot drinks you're drinking, see how much caffeine you're having, and it may well be that you might want to tweak something. Okay, going back to Margaret's comment about she never feels thirsty. I mean, in a way, that's nice that you don't feel thirsty. I tend to drink more in the summer because I actively feel thirsty. But I have read somewhere, I don't know if it's an urban myth or not, but basically by the time you're thirsty, you're dehydrated and you shouldn't be waiting that long. And I know that when I'm exercising, I make myself drink more, even though I don't feel more thirsty. I'm getting sweaty, I'm losing liquid, so I need to replace it. So this is about moderation, but be thinking about your non-alcoholic fluids that you're drinking. Earlier in the little comment section, I think it was Sharon that says she drinks boiling water. I've started doing that because I've been drinking black tea for about 18 months and my black tea was getting so weak that I thought, why am I even bothering? My tea bag was lasting me all day. It was that weak, okay? So I just thought to myself, when this lockdown started, I thought, I can't be faff with this tea bag in and out of the mug all day long, especially not with the quantities I'm drinking. So I've gone to boiling water. It's absolutely fine. I really like boiling water, and everyone goes, "Oh, Mum, what are you drinking?" "Oh, just boiling water for me." And Mum was like, "What are you drinking boiling water for?" But it's fine. I like it. So, experiment. Some of you will say put lemon in it, but I don't like it with lemon. Lemon makes me feel like I'm ill. Because like, oh, it's lemsip, I'm ill. But some of you would like that. So that's fine. If you like lemon in your drinks, then yeah, enjoy. So we've talked about hot drinks. We'll talk about cold drinks. That couple of litres a day of fluid needs to be varied and interesting, and you've got to like it. Oh dear Lorna, I drink black tea and coffee. It does really stain your mugs. Yeah, it does. Yeah. My nice new mug's white because I don't have any caffeine in it. But I've just gone to water and it's absolutely fine. Let's all experiment. Okay, so we've talked about hot drinks. So I'd like to challenge you to look at what you're drinking. Keep it varied, keep it interesting. You're drinking it, that's all that matters, that you like it. But from a health point of view, maybe you might want to review how much caffeine you're having, and you might want to review the quantities of fluid you're drinking. Okay, let's give Alison a wave. I haven't given Alison a wave. Okay, so that's that was just some information about hot drinks. And obviously you like cold drinks, so you might be drinking cold water, squash, whatever. Just keep it varied, keep it interesting. And we'll move on to alcohol. I like boiled water. Sometimes it seems to taste sweeter somehow. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I prefer boiling water to cold water any day, any day. If I have to drink cold water, I like it really cold. I'm really not interested in it being warm. But yeah, I actually prefer hot water to cold water. Yeah. Okay, so that was just the soft drinks. Okay. I wanted to talk about alcohol. Okay, alcohol. We've got this hilarious bottle opener that's stuck on our fridge. Andy, what does Homer Simpson say? Alcohol is... Homer Simpson on our bottle opener says alcohol is the cause of and the answer to all of life's problems. Now, we had that as a Christmas present years ago, and sadly Homer has stopped talking now. But for years, every time you use the bottle opener, Homer Simpson would say alcohol is the answer to and the cause of all life's problems. And we would laugh and giggle every time. The little dog wants to come into the kitchen, I'm afraid. That means I can't move because I'm all wired up here, but the little dog wants to go. Good morning, Sarah. Okay, alcohol. Now, again, we are all completely different on this one, and I just wanted to put it out there to get you to think a bit about what alcohol you're drinking. You might be drinking none at all. Okay, it might be completely irrelevant to you because you don't touch a drop. But for other people, they will enjoy alcohol, and they might be drinking different quantities during lockdown. Andy, can you let the little dog out, please? Bessie's staring at the door. Yeah, go into the kitchen. I knew she wouldn't stay on the sofa. Okay, so I started looking at what is a healthy level to drink. And as I was saying at 9 o'clock, I kind of remembered what I learnt in the 80s and early 90s. Yes, Sharon says, alcohol is very individual. I prefer chocolate. Me too. And I knew originally in the 80s, safe drinking levels were considered to be 21 units for women and 28 for men. I remember that, late 80s, early 90s. Then they reviewed it. So the 28 came down. Give them a wave. Mind the flexes. Came down to 14 and 21. There was always a difference for men. So women came down to 14 from 21. Men came down from 28 down to 21. Okay. And then in the last probably decade, don't know exactly when it changed, but they both came down. He waved to you, Lon, as well. They both came down to 14. And wasn't it interesting at 9 o'clock when I said to everyone, what's a healthy drinking level? And everyone was saying 3. They're talking about 3 units a day, which is the 21. But I think they reduced it both down to 14, probably in the last 5 years, I would say, if I had to hazard a guess. And I was looking at what 14 units is. So this is all from the drinkaware.co.uk website. And if you look on a bottle, I was just looking on a bottle of gin, and it actually promoted that website, drinkaware.co. Here we are. This is wine for cooking. And it says, know your limits. And they actually say, drink responsibly. For more facts, drinkaware.co.uk. Crikey, you need a magnifying glass. Okay, so the Chief Medical Officer recommends don't drink more than 14 units a week. Okay, and in this bottle of cheap red wine is 8.3 units. Okay, so they would be talking about 1.5 bottles of wine a week. Okay, so 14 units looks like 6 pints of beer, 6 medium glasses of wine. They're only 175ml glasses, or 14 shots of whiskey. And a shot is only 25 mils. It's not this. It's the 5 baby spoons that we used to put Calpol in. Tiny spoons, 5 of those, 5 mils. So 25 mils of whiskey is a unit, is a shot. It would be a unit because they're saying you could have 14. So yeah, but it's about the quantities, isn't it? So much when we talk about food, it's not, are you eating the right food? It's, are you eating the right quantity? And the same goes for alcohol. The size of your glass makes such a difference. So you'll know a standard wine glass is 175. A small one is 125, and they're like hen's teeth. They're so rare. I don't even think you can get one in the pub. Maybe if you could ask. But a small is 125. Average is 175. And a large glass of wine is 250. Now, 250 is a third of a bottle in one glass. Okay, and isn't it easy? You know, I mean, Andy likes wine, and there's a little hotel we go to very, very occasionally is a massive treat. And our treat, when we're having dinner, his treat is to have a large glass of wine, and my treat is to have an extra side of vegetables because I don't drink wine, but they never give me enough vegetables, and usually the cost's the same. It's just crazy, isn't it? A side of vegetables is so flipping expensive. But his large glass of wine, 250. So that would be, so this is a 75 centilitre bottle. It's cheap wine, Lorna. That's why it's so low in alcohol. Fruity red to go in the stew Kian asked for. A third of this bottle would be one large glass. And so that's why I guess it's so easy to polish off a bottle, because you've only had 3 glasses, but the glass is so enormous. That's why they're going down so quickly. What are you saying? That's a low, yeah. Okay, usually more like 10 units bottle. Okay. Sarah says trying to stick to what we were doing previously, not having any alcohol Monday to Thursday, then have a few at the weekends. The first G&T on a Friday is also so good. But I must admit, I love the crisps and nibbles. Yeah, that we have more than the drinks. That's interesting, Sarah. Okay, that's interesting. You see, because I would be drinking the soft drinks and I would be happily guzzling the Twiglets. Absolutely. Or the salt and vinegar crisps or whatever. Fantastic. Okay. So I would suggest to you, before we even talk about anything else, look at what your glass size is. You know, so the small is 125, a medium glass is 175, a large glass is 250. And of course, not now because we're all on lockdown, but like when you go to parties, because always you want to top up. It's so easy. Oh yeah, I'll have a top up, and then of course no one ever wants to see an empty glass, do they? And obviously, if you're drinking from a large glass, then obviously it's easier to drink more. Okay, where do we start on alcohol? So the 14 units a week is what's healthy for us. They suggest it's spread out over the week. They don't suggest you have it all on one night, okay? And I've got another question for you, okay? What do you think is the definition of binge drinking? How many units, let's just say for a woman, what's the definition of a binge drink? Okay, a binge session for a woman is how many units or more is considered a binge drink? Let me know. Give me your answer. While you're putting your answer, I'll just answer Alice's question. I thought if you put alcohol in your cooking, you only get the flavour, not the alcohol. I have no idea. I would imagine, don't you boil off the alcohol? I don't know. I have no idea to that. The fruity red wine we've bought for cooking, I was on the shopping list I was given, I was asked to get a box of wine for cooking, and they didn't have any boxes of wine. In Tesco's, the shelves were empty. It was like, I don't know, like flour. In flour, you go to the flour department, there is no flour. You go to the eggs, there are no eggs. Boxes of wine, there were none. So I couldn't, and that was all I could get. So I don't know if the alcohol stays in your food. I doubt it does. I would imagine it evaporates off. You have to sit and sniff it. So can anyone answer that question? I don't think you get much alcohol in the food. No. Fiona, I always eat something before I have a drink. That is a really good idea. Really, really good idea. So Lorna says probably as low as 6, which is ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, the alcohol is not there when it's heated as it's boiled out. Thanks, Sarah. That's useful to know. Okay. So the definition of a binge drink. Okay, so Mary says 5 to 6. It's all in my house, Emma. Okay, yeah, the alcohol dissipates. I believe that is correct. So we're going to say when you're putting alcohol in food, it evaporates, especially if it's in hot food. I can't imagine you're going to put that much in your tiramisu anyway, are you? Anyway, okay, so the definition of a binge drink is when you drink a lot of alcohol in a short space of time, okay? But it does depend on your weight, your size, the amount of time you drink it over, and whether or not you drink it with food or an empty stomach. But the drinkerware.co.uk's definition of binge drinking was 6 units for women and 8 units for men. Interesting, eh? So, 6 glass. So that would be 6 units is 6 units. So that's not even this bottle of cheap red wine. This cheap red wine has got 8.3 units, okay? So you couldn't even have the bottle of wine before they would consider that was a binge drink. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. So anyway, I'm not going to talk too much. I'm not going to get you to say what you drink because this is just a factual thing. I just want you to be thinking about it, okay? I think on this lockdown, I see so much online that people make fun of alcohol. Like that post I did this morning about the margarita coffee. It's got no coffee in it. It's just margarita and let's start drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's, there's lots of comedy about it. That's absolutely fine. But I think from a health point of view, we need to be thinking, what am I actually doing? I have to over sugar, okay? And other people need to do it to themselves over alcohol. So I wanted to just put it out there today and get you to just think about what you're drinking. And it may well be that you may do what Sarah recommended and that she was just decides, even during lockdown, that there are certain days of the week, no alcohol. And other days of the week, have to drink, okay? I'm sure nobody's life is the same right now as it used to be 2 months ago. Nobody's life is the same. We all have completely different ways of coping, but we want to be as healthy as we can, which is why I was kind of thought it would be quite good to talk about alcohol today. Now, on the drinkaware.co.uk website, there are incredible lists of the effects of alcohol on the body. Now, I haven't printed them all off. They are very, very long and very, very detailed. Obviously, it's a drug. It has an effect on every single system of the body, whether or not it's your brain or it affects your liver everywhere. And it's just very interesting from a physical point of view for people to take on board that it does have an effect. So that's all I'm going to say. If you want more details, you can look at that website. From a calories point of view, quite interesting. So they're saying, calories-wise, a large glass of wine, so that's the 250, large glass of wine is just over 3 units. So in fact, that binge drink that we said was women 6 units or more is 2 larger glasses of wine. That is crazy, isn't it? I would never have realised that. That's equivalent to a cornetto in calories. Okay, so I printed some of these sheets off. Okay, just quite interesting, really. So 1 large glass of wine has the same calorie content as many indulgent food. If you choose to drink alcohol, why not try switching to a smaller glass? Okay, which is, a good idea. So we're going 1 large glass of wine is the same as a cornetto. 2 glasses of Pimm's is the same as a bagel. That's 250 calories. 2 gin and tonics, which is just under 2 units, is the same as a chocolate-filled pancake. 1 bottle of Alco Pops, which is just over 1 unit, is the same as 170 calories, a Hawaiian slice of pizza, or even a slice of Hawaiian pizza. Okay. 2 rum and cokes, that's the same as a bag of chocolate buttons, which is 170 calories. So, interesting. A pint of cider, which is coming in just over 2.5 units, that's the same as a sugar donut. Okay. So all I'm saying from an energy point of view is that you might want to look at what you're drinking and try, if you're thinking, my clothes are feeling a bit tight, I'm having to eat less chocolate, and you might think, do you know what, I might tweak what I'm drinking. Okay, so you might space your drinking out more often. So drink less and spread it out over the week. You may choose to go to shorts. Not shorts to wear, but shorts to drink. And there's less calories in things like a gin and tonic. So have a look on that website if you're interested. There's a thing here about champagne. 1 glass of champagne, so it's only a 125 glass of champagne there. A small glass of champagne is 1 unit. It's the same as 1 chocolate biscuit. Okay. So you can decide what you want to drink, what you want to eat, but be aware that there's calories in it. Okay. So a pint of cider, I've said that, is the same as a sugar donut, which is 210 calories. So it's about moderation. That's all I'm saying, isn't it? It's really important, in moderation. So we just need to be aware of the alcohol in the drinks, and we want to be aware of the sugar in the drinks. Now, we've been getting some soft drinks to make life a bit more interesting. So when the boys order their cider, I've been getting some soft drinks for me because I feel like I'm missing out. So it may well be that you might want to experiment and get some non-alcoholic stuff that you can have on your Friday night. And you think, this is a real treat. I wouldn't normally have this. So this is ginger beer. This is sparkling apple and elderflower. We've got another one which is really nice lemonade. Get things that you like so that you're not feeling that you're missing out. And other ways to be drinking a bit less alcohol would be to alternate soft drink, alcoholic drink, spread it out. Review the types of alcohol you're drinking. Eat with it. Eat so that you don't get so drunk so quickly. Gin and slimline and fizz, best for calories. Yeah, absolutely. With 1 drink, I feel it behind my eyes. Yeah, okay. The thing is, we're all different, and we need to embrace that and celebrate that. But don't feel, if you are deliberately trying to drink a bit less alcohol, have some nice things in, what you consider to be nice, so that you can have a treat as well. Okay. I think that is pretty much it for today. So to recap, we've talked about hot drinks. We want you to have a varied and interesting selection of hot drinks, but see what you can do to review the caffeine in them. One thing I would say, when I moved from real tea, just black tea, to decaf tea, I had a headache for 2 days. My body was so used to the caffeine, I had this dull headache for days. And now, well, I don't drink it anymore, but I went to decaf tea and then I stayed on decaf tea for about 18 months. And whenever I had a caf tea, I felt it in my head. I really felt different. So if you are going to cut down on your caffeine, do it gradually, because your body is used to it and, it needs to get accustomed to it. So do what you can do to have a varied selection of hot and cold drinks during the day. And it may well be that you might be drinking a very healthy amount. That's absolutely fine. But there may be others that want to review how much they're drinking. They might want to spread it out a bit, have at least a few alcohol-free days a week. And those healthy levels were only 14 units a week. I'm going to sneeze. That was ladylike, wasn't it? Red Bush tea is my daytime drink, no caffeine. Yeah, brilliant. But it's so experiment. Okay, there's no right or wrong answers. This is about you making your own personal choices, but we'd like you to be as healthy as possible, especially when you come out the other end. You want to be feeling good. On that website, here we are. On the website, drinkaware.co.uk, there were some sources of information and helplines. There's a national helpline called Drink Line, and there's a phone number for that. And there's Alcohol Anonymous. Now, they're not having face-to-face meetings at the moment, Alcohol Anonymous, but they are doing kind of like a virtual stuff. So there is support out there for people who want help, okay? The body can only process 1 unit of alcohol an hour, which is why if you can spread it out, it's much better for your body than drinking it all in a really short period of time. And on that website, it talks about dealing with hangovers and safe. It's a fantastic website. I can't recommend it enough. Have a look if you're interested. Now, before we finish, I just want you to type out any questions you've got about drink, about fluid, not any sort of particular type of drink, anything, questions you've got. Are you drinking too much or not enough? While you're asking your questions, going back to one of you said, I probably don't drink enough. Your body needs plenty of fluid. Your kidneys need to be flushed out. So aim to be drinking 2 litres a day of non-alcoholic fluid. And that 2 litres includes water, tea, coffee, squash. It's not just 2 litres of water plus everything else. No, it's 2 litres in all. Okay, 2 litres in all. And you can tell if you're hydrated enough because your wee will just be straw coloured. If it's really dark, then that's a sign that you're dehydrated and you're not drinking enough. And also, if you can pinch your skin, it should go back down quite quickly. If you're dehydrated, it stays up. Okay, but having said that, if you're elderly, I'm thinking 80 plus, your elasticity of your skin does change. Okay, so that isn't such a good marker, but generally that is an indicator. But the colour of your urine is a very good bet. Okay, Finnegan is snoring on the sofa. Can you hear that? Yeah, I think he's dreaming of squirrels. Okay, so if anyone's got any questions, do ask them now. But I will put the web details on our Facebook page, and also the phone numbers. And I just thought I'd ask the question. That was all. Are you drinking enough? Are you drinking too much? Does peppermint tea contain caffeine? No, I don't think it does. Pleasure, Lorna. Yeah, tea and coffee definitely counts because it's fluid. Yeah, it's fluid. So that's why, obviously, we need to make sure that we're drinking enough in all. Anything that's unsullied with caffeine is good for us. So having some glasses of water is a good idea. And it can also take the edge off your appetite. If you have a drink of water before your meal, that can fill up your tummy a bit and make you feel less hungry, so you eat less. That can help for some people as well. Okay, no caffeine in peppermint tea, yeah, I was pretty sure. So lots of herbal teas are caffeine free, but green tea has caffeine in it unless you buy the decaf version, all right? Yeah, so my friend who is a continence nurse says so many people drink green tea and don't realise it's got caffeine in it. So you do need to go for the decaf version, yeah. And people who get up a lot in the night really seriously need to review their caffeine intake during the day, because even a coffee at lunchtime will have an effect 12 hours later, all right? So be quite serious about reviewing how much caffeine you're having. So thank you everybody for joining me this morning. If you've got a suggestion for another health slot, then let me know. Give me a little bit of notice. A couple of hours will usually do it. And I can do a little bit of research. We can talk about it. We can just pose some questions, and then you can have a think yourself how you might want to do something different. So let me know any suggestions, and I will speak to you all very soon. Thank you. Bye.